Ako po ay nagpapasalamat sa ating overall chair, as well as si Dr. Joanne De Castro, and of course, the chair of the scientific committee, Dr. Rose Capedi, for inviting us to this august body, this 20th annual convention. And the topic is on the strengthening public-private partnerships in the control of pediatric infectious diseases. Well, our scientific chair gave us these objectives. And of course, since I'm representing Pediatric Infectious Disease Society of the Philippines in this particular symposium, well, you have to define the role of PIDSP, identify the links between the public and private sector to enhance activities in the control of infectious diseases, the acute flaccid paralysis, measles, generate epidemiologic data, if that is what it is called for, establish guidelines on management and prevention of diseases, and highlight the success of such partnership. Our President Benigno Aquino III, of course, as the chief executive of the land, gives us the direction of where the country is going. And not only in economics, in finances, but also in health. And on June 30, 2010, during his inaugural address, he mentioned that a major approach in achieving maximum results in the present administration is in public-private partnerships, as articulated by our Assistant Secretary for Health, Dr. Eric Tayag, in the field of health. And he also mentioned that the private sector works within the stewardship of the public sector. Well, Dr. Eric Tayag mentioned, are you vaccinating? And so on. Of course we are vaccinating. But again, if I remember Dr. Sally Gatchalian telling us, hey, Josie, but you know what? Even if we're so many private practitioners, we only cater to about 15% of the population. So you can imagine the great divide. How about the 85%? So it is there where we can as well have our influence in terms of being effective healthcare providers. Well, in the public-private partnership in health, the private sector can be a provider of health resources. We can be provider of course, the human resources as healthcare practitioners, healthcare providers, and provider of technical assistance to improve health systems. By the way, this picture is from, I think, De La Salle University. With your permission, I got it from the PPS website. So if you want your pictures to be seen, it has to be in those websites. Well, of course, from the DOH to the Philippine Medical Association to the Philippine Pediatric Society. Before we became, for us, pediatric infectious disease practitioners, first of all, we're pediatricians, certified pediatricians. And the Philippine Pediatric Society is our mother society. And Pediatric Infectious Disease Society of the Philippines is just one of the subspecialties under our mother society. And of course, the PPS is all for the Filipino child. For us, we as pediatricians are child advocates. And so you know already how it follows. From the Mother Society, of course, to the Pediatric Infectious Disease Society. And the PIDSP is the technical arm of the Philippine Pediatric Society in the field of infectious diseases. And so we have this vision for PIDSP. By the way, through the leadership of our current president, Dr. Betty Kiambao, we revisited our mission vision. And so we have this revisited mission. And it says, with a deep sense of dedication to the Filipino child, just like our mother society, we shall be the dynamic and progressive subspecialty that leads in the fight against childhood infections. And with the mission, imploring the aid of the divine providence, we commit to sustain professional excellence, integrity, and exemplary ethical conduct among our officers and members. Set the highest standards for training, research, and practice in pediatric infectious diseases. Demonstrate outstanding leadership in educating healthcare providers and caregivers. Pursue relevant and essential research on pediatric infectious diseases. And establish a network with local and global agencies towards the control of childhood infections. I highlighted the last because this is the one that is along the line, especially of the public-private partnership. And this is one of our efforts in the field, the childhood immunization schedule. And this is the 2012. And this is chaired by no less than Dr. Cynthia Chai Alcantara Aguirre. And this is a difficult job. As you can see, there is the Mother Society there, the Philippine Pediatric Society. You can see the Pediatric Infectious Disease Society of the Philippines logo, as well as the Philippine Foundation for Vaccination, which is a non-governmental foundation assisting in the vaccine-preventable diseases, whether from epidemiology to the education as well, and so on. So we try to reach out the greater part of our population. And just to let you know the steps in the preparation of the immunization recommendation, it is tedious, my dear. I should know, because I was part of it for some time, up until 2010, when I felt that the younger ones should also be involved. And this is the timetable. April to June, Dr. Chai would make the assignment to members to review the available data, local especially, and global data as well. July, the committee members will meet and do their own presentations. By August, the critiquing should be finished and it should be final. Why? Because in September, we will present to the Philippine Pediatric Society, where we will be again critiqued, and so there will be revisions as well. But hopefully in time for the Philippine National Immunization Conference of the Philippine Vaccination Foundation, because this is the first public outing of the new recommendation. Meaning to say, if that is 2012, what will be presented will be for 2013. And February, just like today, is for the PIDSP Annual Convention, where again, this will be articulated. So the second general public presentation. And of course, the last but not the least and the biggest will be during the Philippine Pediatric Society Annual Convention. Well, it's not only there. in the field of tuberculosis, of course, we always get our orders from our Department of Health. And our Department of Health has partnered with the Philippine Pediatric Society. And there are organizations like PhilCat, which is the Philippine Coalition Against Tuberculosis, an aggregation of about 64 organizations, governmental and non-governmental, civic, social organizations, all working to make our country free of tuberculosis, hopefully in our lifetime. And in 1996, just to show you, the PPS hosted the third PhilCat Annual Convention with PIDSP as the subspecialty host organization. And I think Dr. Esther Pahay Villar was the overall chair, with Dr. Mary Chua as the PPS president there. In 2012, one of the PPS subspecialty organizations, as PIDSP, was involved very heavily in the PhilCat Annual Convention, as well as the others. And in the field of tuberculosis, our Dr. Sally Gatchalian is the chair, both for PPS and for PIDSP. Well, in dengue infections, we have a lot of collaborations as well. Again, PIDSP being the technical arm of the Philippine Pediatric Society. And aside from this a little old guidelines, we have now the new guidelines. And in this new dengue guidelines, this was collaborated by several subspecialists of the PPS, from our intensivists to our hematologists, to I think pulmonologists and all the rest, as well as the PIDSP members. And in this field, it's Dr. Chet, our Dr. Liza Gonzalez, who chairs the dengue infections. Again, we have clinical practice guidelines, and there's a new assignment from the Philippine Pediatric Society. Of course, the bacterial meningitis, CBG, is under